The Steelers added a two-time Super Bowl champion safety to their defense. And did Najee Harris take a shot at his former team? Big Deke News. Yesterday afternoon, the Steelers made a nice little move. Not going to front. Signing safety Juan Thornhill to a one-year deal. Steelers were going to be in the market for a third safety this offseason. We've talked about that as being one of the Steelers' needs. It wasn't one of the top priorities. It probably like 5th or 6th on the priority list, but they were going to eventually have to address it at some point, and they did by signing Juan Thornhill. And you could do a lot worse than having Juan Thornhill as your third safety. At one point with the Kansas City Chiefs, he spent 4 seasons with the Kansas City Chiefs to start his career. He was considered one of the better safeties in the league. He was considered one of the better defenders on those Chiefs teams, and he won 2 Super Bowls while he was with them. Over the last couple seasons, he's been with the Browns. So when he was a free agent in 2022, hit the market, signed a multi-year deal with the Browns. It was 3 years, $21 million, got $7 million a year up there. His stint with the Browns, though, not as good with the Chiefs, safe to say. 0 picks there. Was oft injured. I think he missed a total of 12 games with dealing with calf injuries, and also has this play on his resume.
4 down and 1. Carr complete. Valdez-Scantling across midfield, inside the 30, the 20, down the sideline to the end zone.
Yeah, that's a tough look. But here's what Juan had to say about it.
I mean, that play is not. I mean, it's not me. I'm just gonna be completely honest. Like, I played with MVS out in Kansas City. Guy caught the ball, and I'm just like, this guy runs a 4.3 40. I'm not catching him. Got a little lazy, and I'll own up to it. But that's just not me, and that'll never happen again. That's why when he broke out today, I was determined I was gonna catch him. I was gonna run a dude down because I've done it multiple times, but just that one time, like, people pointed it out, and I just can't have that. Because there's past plays when, like, Derrick Henry broke and I run him down. Like, you see it all the time. But I guess people just chose to pick out that one play. But, I mean, it's part of the game.
So safe to say that his career's been a bit of a mixed bag. More on the positive side, especially with his tenure in Kansas City. Probably not a coincidence that had his best years in Kansas City and was one of the better safeties in the league. He's with Kansas City and not as good with the Browns. Surroundings can, at times, make or break you, especially in a league like the NFL, a sport like football, where it is the ultimate team sport. Cleveland, yeah, I don't think it's one of those places typically where a player goes to shine and their career starts to all of a sudden flourish, especially when you go from Kansas City to Cleveland. Now he's with the Steelers, so here's what I'm going to do. Here's how I'm thinking of all this. Weigh his Kansas City years more than the Browns years. The Browns years are more of an outlier as to who Juan Thornhill is. It's more about that time in Kansas City when he was a 2-time Super Bowl champion and one of the better safeties in the league. Good coverage grades, all that stuff. That's who I think Juan Thornhill is going to be here. I think the Cleveland stuff, I think you just chalk it up to Cleveland, right? If anything, with how things played out with Juan up in Cleveland, it kind of seems like he's a perfect fit here. He took the Browns' money, had a significant hit on their cap space, was a disappointment, didn't live up to the contract, didn't have the crazy amount of impact anyone was expecting. Clashed with fans and even clashed with Browns media on the way out. And now you're Pittsburgh Steelers. Seems like a good fit. Sign with the Browns, take their money, have little impact, leave on a sour note, clash with fans, clash with media. And so there's some smoke there. Those Cleveland years, those were just learning lessons in Juan Thornhill's journey. Started off strong with Kansas City, those 4 years there. Goes to Cleveland. And now redemption story, redemption arc with the Steelers, revenge arc with the Steelers. Juan Thornhill gets back to vintage Juan Thornhill in Pittsburgh. That's how I see the script going. And that's how I think he sees it as well. Something may have to give with one of his tattoos, though. they have the laser removal services for a reason. I think this is one of those instances. I think that's one of those regretful tattoos. Like, what was I thinking? What were you thinking whenever you got that? Like, damn. So that's actually a good side story for the offseason. Does Juan Thornhill actually get that tattoo removed? I think he should. I think we all know that he should. Will he do it? Yeah, just get that out of there. Replace it with Steely McBeam. Steely McBeam, or get just the classic Steelers logo. I think that's a good way to go about it. But in all seriousness, this is a pretty nice signing, man. I think Juan Thornhill is an upgrade over DeMonte Casey. I think the dude could still start in this league. I mean, again, you look back at how he looked at Kansas City. He was considered one of the better safeties in the league at the time. Really good coverage grade, good in coverage, and then good tackler too. Like, just an all-around solid safety. I mean, he was the starter for the Chiefs during multiple Super Bowl runs. Won 2 championships there. And then with the Browns, he was the starter for the majority. Last year, you could see his snap counts started to fluctuate a little bit. But he's versatile too. Again, as your third safety, we already got Minka and Elliott. And we're talking about Thornhill being our third guy. The dude is decent in coverage. You could move him up into the slot, have him play blocks, above average tackler, good in coverage. Browns fans will tell you different, but yeah, he's not on the Browns anymore. He's on the Pittsburgh Steelers, so hopefully things are different here than what they were the last couple of years, and it goes back to more of the Kansas City playing days. But the Steelers also made another signing yesterday. This one's a little bit less eventful. We brought back Isaiahh Loudermilk on a 1-year deal. Okay. Don't really have much to say about this move. His upsides being like our 5th or 6th defensive lineman on the depth chart. And I looked into the D-line. After this Loudermilk signing, I'm like, how many dudes do we actually have on this defensive line? Bringing back Loudermilk, we signed a Quale. Yeah, we got like 7 or 8 dudes on this defensive line here. And I'm looking through it, I'm like, could we get away with not drafting a guy in the first round, or drafting a defensive tackle in the first round? Could we get away with Cam Hayward, Quale, Keanu Benton, DeMarvin Leal / Logan Lee as being like our top 4/5? We still got Montravius Adams. I mean, I would say yes if DeMarvin Leal lives up to potential, because I think DeMarvin Leal could be the perfect like Larry Ogunjobi replacement, be that perfect rotational piece with Cam Hayward and Keanu Benton, like that, like a 3-man rotation there is like our top most talented guys. But he's got to stay healthy and he's got to live up. Because Quale, I feel like he's got his niche, he's got his role of being like that big run stopper. But DeMarvin Leal, I feel like with the athleticism, the talent that he has, he could, yeah, we could, if he lived up, we could get away with not drafting a guy in the first round. We could get away with missing out on some of these other big-name D tackles that we didn't sign in free agency if DeMarvin Leal could live up to the hype. I think at this point throughout his career, it's a big if, but it's not like we haven't seen it done before. I remember Bud Dupree, like his first 2 or 3 seasons, took him a little bit, man. Took him a little bit, and then it was like that 4th year really start to hit his stride, 4th, 5th year, and we got to see Bud Dupree do some special things here in Pittsburgh, ultimately make that big money down in Tennessee, and with how that played out, kind of robbed them blind. But that's not our problem. That's definitely not our problem. So could DeMarvin Leal be on that type of path? Hopefully. Still think D tackle is one of our top needs, though, if not the top need. I think we could get away with it for a year. I think we could. Cam Hayward, Keanu Benton, Quale, DeMarvin Leal, because that's the thing. Leal was out for like all of last season. Leal wasn't even out there. He got hurt, and we had to put him on the IR, and we didn't get to see him. Logan Lee, didn't get to see him either. So it's like, could some of these, if some of these unknowns can actually become known and become more certainties for us, then we can get away with it. I think it just comes down to what our belief is in some of these guys. Because we still got running back we got to look at. We don't have that second-round pick anymore. We don't have, like, that extra security. Wouldn't mind trading back, getting a second-round pick, still having, like, a late first, getting a second-rounder in the process. But, yeah, that's where we stand right now. This Loudermilk move doesn't move the needle one way or another. Like, even this signing of Loudermilk doesn't give me confidence that we could get away with the defensive line that we have. It's the other guys that we have on the roster. Loudermilk's like defensive lineman number 5, number 6. But like I'm looking at the top 4, the guys in front of him as the hope that we could get away with the group that we got. But let's see. What else we got? Last thing. Najee Harris did introductory press conference with the Chargers a few days ago. And he seemingly took a couple shots at the Steelers. One was in regards to the facilities.
It's a great weight room. First of all, even the facility is all great things, man. This is a lot of things that they provide here, man. That you take advantage of. And I was just telling them, I was like, man, it's not like this everywhere, man. Like this is a special thing right here. Remind me of college at Alabama. All the resources that they have. So just getting the chance to take advantage of all this opportunities is a blessing. And I was telling him that I'm like, man, y'all have a great thing going on right now. Because it's not like this everywhere. It's not. So, man, yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
And the other one was on how he was utilized in this Pittsburgh offense.
I'm a versatile back. It's just that certain offense I was just using a certain way. But, we're really good in the receiving game, too. I feel like doesn't go noticed enough. But, just an all-around back, man. That's how I see myself.
I'll start with the facilities. No surprise there. I don't even think anyone could really take offense to this or get defensive about this because it is what it is. There's a reason the Steelers have been grading so low in those NFLPA surveys on the locker room, the facilities, and the weight room, and all that stuff. We're not as good as, for the most part, the rest of the league in those categories. It is what it is. And then compared to the Chargers, they're like top 5. They just got whole new stadium. They got state-of-the-art stuff. Everything's brand new. So, Charger stuff is going to be better than the Steelers. But I will say again, that's not the reason why we're not having playoff success. That's not the reason why the Steelers aren't getting over the hump. The locker room, the facilities, and all that. That's not the reason why we got embarrassed in the wild card game against the Ravens. But there is something to be said for, if we're talking about from a roster standpoint, from an Omar Khan standpoint and coaching standpoint, trying to turn over every stone to be a better team, to improve, then why not do that with the facilities and all that stuff too, and try to give our players the best resources possible to be them best, their best selves. So there's something to that as well. But this isn't the difference between us winning and losing games, though. We can all agree on that. And then with the utilization and the offense comment, he's not wrong, but I think there's also good reason for why he was underutilized in the pass game. He was a lot in his rookie year with Big Ben, but he was pretty much like the only running back on the roster. I mean, it was like McFarland and Benny Snell after Najee Harris. So he was getting all the workload. After that season, Jaylen Warren came onto the scene. And if you're going to talk about which running back you'd want to be more involved in the passing game, I think it's clear and obvious it's Jaylen Warren over Najee Harris, right? He's a faster back. He's more dynamic. Has better make you miss ability. So like on a third down, who would you rather dump the ball off to? Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris to try to scrap a first down. I think it's Jaylen Warren. But Najee I think he is a little bit underrated in the passing game. Like he showcased good hands, and I think he had like 500 receiving yards his rookie year too. But yeah, still, if you had to pick between the two to utilize more in the passing game, it's Jaylen Warren over Najee Harris. I think that's just how things played out over recent years. And it just is what it is. It is what it is. I don't think the Steelers were necessarily making a wrong decision in doing that. So who knows? Maybe the Chargers will utilize Najee more out there. Although I think they signed J.K. Dobbins, so it's probably going to be similar to what it looked like here. I mean, that's going to be at least a split backfield between J.K. Dobbins and Najee Harris. At least when Najee was here, I mean, he was probably considered more of the lead back over Jaylen Warren. So that'll be interesting. But, yeah, I mean, these comments can be viewed as, like, kind of shots at the Steelers, but I don't think any, like, real bad blood or, like, real bad ill will towards the Steel City or Steelers organization, anything like that. But that's it for today's show. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay chill and let me know your thoughts on the topics discussed down in the comments. And peace.